you can connect with your loved ones living in the afterlife. Over the last 50 years, researchers have perfected 9 methods of afterlife communication that enable 98% of ordinary people to have successful afterlife communications. You just have to learn which method works for you. Hello, I'm Dr. R. Craig Hogan, President of the Afterlife Research and Education Institute and Seek Reality Online. We're dedicated to teaching you this simple truth. There is no death, and there are no dead. And we will teach you how you can communicate with your loved ones now living in the life after this life. They're alive and well, and they fervently want to communicate with you, to tell you that they're fine, and not to worry about the transition at the end of this life. In this video, I explain procedures you can use to have afterlife communication experiences with your loved ones. Psychotherapists have learned how to help their clients in grief therapy reduce their grief by having their own afterlife communications with the people for whom they're grieving while they sit in the psychotherapist's offices. The pioneers who have developed the methods are Dr. Alan Botkin, Rochelle Wright, and Dr. Jane Bissler. You can read about the procedures I'm about to explain at this link on our Afterlife Research and Education website. If you miss recording any of the links in this video, the final screen has all the links so you can record any you miss or print off that page. The first method of afterlife communication people are using successfully today is called induced after-death communication. It was developed by Dr. Alan Botkin as he worked with combat veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD at the North Chicago Veterans Administration Hospital. To reduce his clients' PTSD, Dr. Botkin used a powerful new psychotherapy method called eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, or EMDR, that puts the client into a state of mind in which traumatic memories are reprocessed so they have much less negative impact on the client. While using EMDR with his patients, he was surprised to hear them describe afterlife connections they were having with the people for whom they were grieving. The communication experiences were very successful and reduced the combat veterans' PTSD and grief dramatically. Dr. Botkin identified what in the therapy was inducing the after-death communication and began to have psychotherapy sessions designed to help clients have afterlife communications. He called the method Induced After-Death Communication, or IADC. His method was 70% successful in only 2 therapy sessions. He later increased the success rate to over 90%. I co-authored a book with Dr. Botkin describing the method and presenting actual client accounts of their successful after-death communications. It is available on Amazon.com. Today, several hundred psychotherapists from around the world are using the method. You can find a psychotherapist near you by going to Dr. Botkin's website at inducedadc.com. The second method psychotherapists are using was developed by Washington State licensed psychotherapist Rochelle Wright. Rochelle learned about Dr. Botkin's method and improved on it by allowing the person in the afterlife to guide the communication process. The result was a method she called Repair and Reattachment Grief Therapy. Her method is 98% successful in helping clients have afterlife communications with the people for whom they're grieving in one session. Because the person in the next life is guiding the experience, sessions may last several hours. One study of the success of the method found that clients' grief was reduced from highs of 10 and 10 plus on a 10-point scale to 0 to 3 in a single session. I co-authored a book with Rochelle that is available on Amazon.com. The book contains actual accounts of people's sessions. Listen to an experiencer describe her repair and reattachment session in the video that follows.
Immediately as my session began, I had headphones on and music playing and was following Rochelle's instructions. My daughter Kate came up in my head. The best way to describe it was my eyes were closed and the visual right away was on the left side of my mind. Kate appeared coming down a sidewalk, and like I said, it was on my left side. There was a wall, and it was beautiful. There was ivy growing out of it and a big old tree. Kate started walking towards me, and it was amazing to have this. I was sitting there with my eyes closed, literally looking at my daughter, Kate, walking towards me. As she walked towards me, she put her hand out, and I was able to put my hand out and feel hers on mine. I was able to feel her fingers, also to hug her and to stroke her hair. She was wearing a t-shirt and shorts and flip-flops like she did when she was alive and she was here on Earth, and it was amazing. She led me down the sidewalk, and we walked, and she was talking, and I couldn't understand what she was saying, but it was just truly amazing that my daughter was literally, I was right there with her. Other than to say that it was real, I don't know how else to explain it. We flashed from walking on the sidewalk to the accident scene, and Kate died on a Sunday night in torrential downpour rain. We went to the accident scene. Kate was in a white dress, and she was right over the center of the street. I could see the lake that was at the accident scene. I could see the guardrail. The rain was on an angle. The visual was unbelievable. It was so clear. It was like I was right there with her. We were literally in the middle of the street. And then we would flash back to the sidewalk. As my connection with Kate was happening, Martine, my girlfriend Linda, who flew to Gig Harbor with me, son, was coming in and out of back and forth with me and Kate. Martine was sitting on his couch in his family room. And he had his leg up on the coffee table, and it's real clear for me still to this day, and he was smiling at me, and he had his arm in a very funny pose. The best way to describe it was like in a monkey pose. I didn't know what that meant. I just kept flashing back and forth. I was kind of confused, but to feel that connection to my daughter, and I knew it was real, was amazing. So I went back and forth with my daughter, Kate, and it would flash to Martine, and Kate I was outside with, and Martine I was inside with. I could, just look at her. It was real. We'd held hands. I hugged her. I stroked her hair. It was truly amazing. I don't know how to describe it other than I know that it was real. I know with confidence today that it was real. And the validation, which I think is one of the most important parts, is that after I left my session and walked back to the hotel, I was describing to Linda Martine's arms in the shape of the monkey pose, going ee and smiling at me. And what I found out is that Martine used to do that with his family all the time. It was something he just did with his sisters and his mom. I didn't know that he did that. So for me, that proved to me and Linda that it was real. So to this day, when I cry and grieve my daughter, I'm not cured and it's not gone away, the pain. But I always know where my daughter is, and she's free and she's happy and she's on the other side. Thank you.
Rochelle has trained psychotherapists to use the method. You can find a psychotherapist to have the procedure performed with you at repairandreattachment.com. The third method of helping clients have afterlife communications is the Loving Hearts Connection, developed by Dr. Jane Bissler, an Ohio State certified psychotherapist. This procedure is performed over Zoom, so you can connect with the psychotherapist from home using your computer browser. Dr. Bissler's method also uses the EMDR protocol. In one study, 17 out of 18 clients had afterlife communications using the method. Dr. Bissler and the trained psychotherapist will also teach you how you can use the method so you can have your own afterlife communications when you want to, without the aid of a psychotherapist. A number of psychotherapists have learned to use the procedure. You can learn about psychotherapists performing the procedure at clearingyoursoul.com/facilitators. I co-authored books with two of these pioneers explaining the procedures and providing case studies of successes. Using what I learned about how to help people have afterlife communications, I developed the self-guided Afterlife Connections procedure. It uses self-hypnosis that will help you enter a state of mind in which afterlife communications happen naturally. The procedure is 86% successful. It is online for free at afterlifeinstitute.org/self-guided. If you fill out the forms at the ends of the stages of the training, I will help you connect. The training has 8 stages. In stage 1, you will learn about having an afterlife connection. In stage 2, you will learn about why this afterlife connection method works. In stage 3, you will learn about free unfoldment in the mind that allows the connections to happen, and you will practice the free unfoldment that is basic to afterlife communication. In stage 4, you will listen to a recording of music while you listen to me guiding you into having an afterlife communication. In stage 5, you will learn how to have an extended conversation with your loved one now living in the next life. In stage 6, you will practice entering the state of mind to have a connection with music but without guidance. In stage 7, you will practice having connections with no music or guidance. Then you can have the connections anywhere, just sitting in a doctor's office or sitting at home. In the final stage, you will learn how to notice the signs your loved one is nearby, so you can pause and have an afterlife communication. The next method people are using to have successful afterlife communications is using a mental medium. That is the traditional method of having afterlife communication. It is important that you use a medium who is certified. Many people claiming to be mediums have little or no ability to connect with people in the afterlife. Lists of certified mediums are at the Afterlife Research and Education website at afterlifeinstitute.org/connect loved one spirit. These are the sources of the lists. All mediums listed on these sources have been tested and certified as capable. The next method you can use to have a successful afterlife communication experience is through meditation. To have a communication experience, you will relax into a state of mind in which the messages can come up from your subconscious into your conscious mind. The meditation will empty your mind of the normal focus on the environment and day-to-day activities. When your mind is empty, the subtle messages from your loved one in the next life will bubble up from your subconscious into your awareness so you receive the messages. The method is very successful for many people. A number of people using meditation to connect have written books about their experiences and what they have learned about the afterlife from their loved ones living in the afterlife. Attorney Maria P., Chief Deputy Tax Collector at the County of San Diego, California, was devastated when her 2 sons were killed by their father. Desperate to connect with her sons, she began meditating with the intention of having an afterlife connection with them. She was successful and communicated with her sons regularly in meditation. She wrote a book titled Journey to the Upper Realm, in which she describes her travels during meditation to the upper realm where she had extended, uplifting conversations with her sons. Her book describes the process she learned to connect with them through meditation. The book is available on Amazon.com. Another person who learned to connect with the afterlife is Annie Kagan. In Annie's case, her brother had been killed in an accident. He came to her and began communicating with her. She was open to the communications and wrote a book containing Billy's profound, detailed descriptions of the mystical realms he travels through, the beings of light that awaited him at his transition, and the wisdom he has received. Annie's book is available on Amazon.com. The next method being used successfully to help people have afterlife communications is use of a pendulum. Carol Morgan, one of the co-founders of Seek Reality Online, learned how to communicate with her son Mikey using a pendulum. In this video, Carol explains how she uses the pendulum.
This is Carol, and I want to show you how I talk to Mikey when I'm on the forum. I think it will be helpful for you. I use this pendulum and this letter number disc where all the alphabet is on and all the numbers are on it. I hold the pendulum and I'm going to hold my hand as steady as I can, and I start in the center of the disc and I call for Mikey. Mikey, Mikey, only my Mikey. God, please watch over and protect me and my son Mikey. So he lets me know he's here. He starts moving it. And before we continue further, I just want to confirm, Mikey, stop it for a minute. I want to confirm how he answers my questions. Show them what you do when you're saying yes. Move it a little more, kid. Okay, show them what you do with the pendulum when you're laughing. He moves it at an angle. and show them what you do when you're saying no. Okay, so he moves it counterclockwise. So counterclockwise is no. Show him you're laughing is he moves it at an angle. He's got the same humor he had when he was here on Earth, and show him your yes. That is clockwise. Okay, so we're going to start. Stop the pendulum, Mikey, and here we go. I hold the pendulum over the center, and I call for him. Mikey, Mikey, only my Mikey. God, please watch over and protect me and my son Mikey. He activates it, and now he's going to identify himself. He is pulling up to the letter I on the disc. I move my hand over the disc, and he circles it clockwise, meaning the first letter is I. Yes. I go to this disc, the center of the disc. He moves down to the letter T. Circles the letter T, so it's IT. Go back to the center. He moves the pendulum to the letter S. Circles that as a yes, so the first word is it's. Correct. Now he's going to spell the next word. He's pulling up to the letter M. I move the pendulum over the letter M. He circles it as a yes. Notice what happens when I go over the letter L. He immediately circles it counterclockwise, telling me no. No, Mom, it is M. And he circles M again as a yes. I go to the center. First letter is M. Second letter is I, circling it yes. Now he's pulling up to the letter K. Circles a K, yes. M-I-K. Pulling up to the letter E. Circles that, yes. Pulls down to the letter Y. And he circles that yes as well. So it's Mikey. Big yes. He identifies himself. I'm going to ask him now 2 questions to confirm for sure this is Mikey. How old were you, Mikey, when you passed over in the accident? He's pulling down to the number 2. I go to the center. He pulls to the 0. 20. 20, and that is accurate. One more question for you, Mikey. What color was your dog that we had as a little boy whose name was Chelsea? What was the color of that dog? He's pulling up to the letter G. Circles it yes. The letter O. I go to the center. Pulls to the letter L. Go to the center. And he pulls the pendulum up to the letter D. Gold. Is that correct? Gold. And that is correct. Chelsea was Mikey's dear golden retriever. So that is correct.
After many communication sessions with Mikey, Carol had attorney Roberta Grimes, one of the co-founders of Seek Reality Online, write a book containing the wisdom Carol was receiving from her son in the afterlife. The book is called Flying High in Spirit. Mikey was an avid snowboarder. The book is available on Amazon.com. The next method you can use to have afterlife communication is electronic voice phenomena, or EVP, or instrumental transcommunication, or ITC. These methods of communication use electronic devices such as audio recorders and televisions to record voices and images of people living in the afterlife. The 2 foremost researchers today are Sonia Rinaldi and Sherry Pearl. Sonia is a researcher in Brazil who has been recording voices and images of people in the afterlife since 2001. Sherry is the owner of the Prayer Registry, containing names of children in the afterlife provided by parents. Both Sonia and Sherry have focused their work on providing recordings for parents of their children now in the afterlife. The method of recording they use is to play blank gibberish noise as they record. This is what it sounds like. There are no hints of words. As the recorder is running, they ask questions or have parents ask questions as the gibberish is playing, such as, "Jeannie, are you with your grandpa in heaven?" The researchers hear nothing from the child as they record. They allow 10 or 20 seconds after they ask each question and the gibberish is playing. They ask another question and wait 10 or 20 seconds again. They continue the process with 8 or 10 questions. When they play back the recording they have made, they hear the answer. The child, with the help of technicians in the afterlife, has laid electromagnetic tracks on the recording device that play back as their voice. Here are some examples. Researcher Sonia Rinaldi asks the child in spirit, "Would you like to leave a message for your mother?" When she plays back the recording, she hears the child's response.
"Would you like to leave a message to your mother?"
Mommy, I can talk.
Sherry Pearl wants to know whether she can use the gibberish she is using to record voices. A child answers.
Say something to me in English to let me know I should use this.
I speak in English.
Sherry asks her son Danny in spirit to say, "I love you, Mom." Danny obliges.
Danny, can you say, "I love you, Mom"?
Anyone can learn to record the voices of people living in the afterlife. It requires only a standard computer and microphone. Sherry Pearl has created a training program you can go through freely at her google.com website. The next method people are using successfully today to have afterlife communication is through automatic writing, also called automatic channeling. In automatic writing, you scribble words as fast as they come to you. It bypasses the conscious mind so the messages can bubble up from your subconscious. This is the procedure. Sit with a stack of 10 or 12 sheets of paper and a pen on a flat surface. Relax into an open, receptive state. Then scribble down the first statement or question you have. Don't look at the writing. It doesn't have to be legible. It's important that you scribble words as fast as they come into your mind. Once you start scribbling, don't stop. If you stop, you've missed the communication. After you write your question or statement, scribble the first words that come to your mind without judging them or stopping. It will be the first notion that comes into your mind. Respond by scribbling down your response. Then scribble the words that come to you after your response. Continue that process. You'll find you'll get into a zone where the words fly faster than you can write them down. Eventually, you can just scribble without trying to make words. The messages will come into your mind more quickly than you can write. When you become adept at automatic writing, you'll find you don't need to try to write words at all. You'll just allow your hand to scribble while you have a dialogue with your loved one in the afterlife. The final method of afterlife communication in this explanation is mirror gazing, or the psychomentium. In ancient Greece, the oracles would look at a polished brass plate or their reflection in water or smoke and receive messages from sources about the fortunes of people who came to them. Today, we use a black mirror or a standard mirror. A black mirror has black painted on the back instead of silver. A standard mirror has silver painted on the back. For either, sit in a darkened room where you can barely see the mirror. Prop the mirror up with a tilt slightly away from you so you don't see yourself in the mirror. You will see a blank wall, dimly lit. Relax and meditate. Think about the person you would like to connect with. Go through scenes of the two of you together that were happy times. Stare into the mirror as you do so. Allow plenty of time. Eventually, you may begin to have an afterlife communication. You may seem to see the person's image in the mirror, or you will get messages that come into your mind. Dr. Raymond Moody, who originated the name near-death experience, explains using a mirror in a room called a psychomentium. You can read about mirror gazing in a psychomentium at the internet address on your screen. You can have successful afterlife communication. You just need to try out the various methods and find one or more that work for you. Learn more about the afterlife and afterlife communication at seekreality.com. The internet addresses in this presentation are on this final screen for you to record or print off.